There we are. We are back to bitch about it. Bad. I've taken a few days.
Responsibility. Very sorry.
The backing of China. And he's just like, I must...
Incident.
It's the role well. Doesn't matter their height. The dwarfs are...
Dwarves, I don't care.
Annoyed at the fact that they didn't cast someone you think they should have.
The reason why it's so folks associated with...
I don't like it. Hello, everybody. There we are. We are back once again with the Mind Over Madness podcast. I'm joined by the wonderful Sean, as always. There he is. Look at that face.
Hello there.
Look at him. Look at him.
Hello.
That sexy man. But yes.
Oh god, it keeps freezing.
Oh no.
3 days later.
Are we ready, good sir? After some slight issues.
False start.
Yes. Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mind Over Madness podcast, episode 50. 50! I am joined wonderful. I'm joined.
We've done more than that.
Yeah, we have actually. I think we've done. This would be technically speaking 52, but two of them disappeared because of the audio. So, but yes, here we are, episode 50.
Over 100 hours of entertainment.
Literally,
I guess.
Yeah, roughly, give or take. But I think some episodes are like 2 hours.
Just a little bit.
I know when we first started this, we just had the gameplay stuff, so it was just kind of like ramblings, and then we had a structure.
Yeah. About 90 odd hours.
no, give or take. It's quite a few hours, quite a few. But, how are you doing, good sir? How are things?
Yes, I'm doing alright this week. Just kind of getting my head down, trying to get a lot of stuff done. We're trying to sort out some things for the house, like we're getting a new front and back door, and so we've got to kind of choose and select those and, get them booked in.
Yeah.
And just been helping sort out all the bills and stuff with all the energy things going up. You can...
Oh, I know.
Jesus, the tariffs and stuff. It's like if you want a fixed price tariff, you've got to pay like $1,500 every year for just electric. It's just ridiculous. But yeah,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know how they expect people to just get on with it, but
it's so stupid. But we will talk about that.
Yes,
I'm sure.
I haven't written it down, but we will.
I'm sure we'll find some point to bitch about it.
Probably in section 1. But yeah, how are you doing this week?
Not too bad. I've taken a few days. I'm readjusting things. Trying to rebalance life a bit. I fell back into the trap of overworking myself again. I can't stop myself. It just happens every fucking time. So a little bit of a shake-up, which is good. It's always a positive. Other than that, not a lot. I've just kind of been playing a few games. Obviously, we've had a couple of new games come out. So playing them. Checking out Dwayne Johnson's ripped face on Fortnite, of course.
Yeah.
Not a lot really. I've just taken a lot of relaxation days really, just to chill and play with friends and spend time with people.
Yeah, it's been good to catch up again.
Oh, it's been nice spending time. I've missed spending time with people, man.
Yeah, you just kind of like get so used to being in your own company.
Yeah, it's bad as well.
Everyone's like, where the hell are you?
Yeah, no, literally, because I didn't realise how little I was spending time with people again, and it's like, I need to get better at this. This is not okay anymore. So, but yeah, no, it's been good week. Lots of good things.
Good.
Yes, lots of good.
Well, with the good vibes in tow, shall we
enter the shit cesspool of the news?
Enter the shit cesspool of Boris Johnson.
Yes, let's do it. Let's get through this. So, what have you got on your news agenda, good sir?
So obviously the Sue Gray report is in. People who have been living under a rock are reporting to allegations of parties and wrongdoing, breaching of COVID restrictions within Number 10 Downing Street.
What a shock.
Her report came in heavily redacted, and
because
saying
the police
that there was like failures of leadership. And it's redacted because there's a police investigation as well. Which is kind of an important step. But it's kind of just a load of nothing that we didn't already know. But obviously there was like 14 events which she's referred to the police to investigate. So there must be some wrongdoing there. So it was kind of harsher than I was expecting, but also a big pile of steaming nothing as well.
Yeah. I think the thing is her wording is very important. Like, I've not read the full report, but from what I've seen, like, she's very clever with her wording. Like, she hasn't outright called him a liar or outright said that he was in the wrong, but she's gone, but he was there for this one. And he was there for this one, but I'm not saying he was a part of it. I'm just saying he was there, so he would have been aware of it.
Yeah.
Which is clever on Sue Gray's part. But yeah, I do agree with you. It's that thing of like, it's just confirming everything we already knew.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing new there to be like, oh, I didn't know that happened. It's, yeah, we knew this.
Yeah.
But why everything has to be in writing for it to exist, apparently, in the legal
I know. He needs Sue Gray to tell him where he is at and what he had for breakfast on a certain day.
How many shits did I have today?
But yeah, it's interesting the reaction from some Tory backbenchers, and that they were standing up and saying they don't support him anymore.
Yeah. That's getting
but yeah, more and more of them were doing it, so maybe vote of no confidence will be in tow at some point, but I feel like he's past the kind of tidal wave of negativity, so maybe he's going to get away with it again.
I think the vote of confidence thing, he's had a couple of Tory MPs that have put a thing in, but they need, I believe it's 54 votes of no confidence for an actual thing to happen, but I don't think they're going to get there in time. Like, the way that you have to, like, the way I see it going is like, he's got people that clearly don't like him, but it's more about, for them, it's like, he's just ahead of a systemic problem. He's just going to be the fall guy for this issue that clearly the government has. But it's, I don't know, that's the reason they're not doing the vote of no confidence, I think, as well as, everything else going on with the world. And it would be a complicated time. Plus, I don't think they want Rishi Sunak leading them either. And I think that's why they're trying to find someone that can't be implicated in these parties, right?
Yeah.
Because the last thing they want to do is put someone, like, change Boris out for someone that was doing something wrong at these parties. Because then they've got the same bloody issue, but with someone else. So it's like they're probably trying to find someone in the back who's like, you've got no connection to this, you lead.
They need just a fresher face and someone who wasn't part of the Posh Boys Club. Yeah, it's just there's like so it's between like Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, a few of the Michael Gove or something. Yeah. But I can't see any of them being any different, to be honest. They're I think all part of the same.
Yeah, it would be bad if Rishi or Michael Gove got in. I think that actually arguably would be worse. But I want to talk about something quite funny, because this is a heavy topic. There was a clip of Boris talking at the stand with Priti Patel behind him, and he said something, and you just see a reaction, just like, oh, for fuck's sake, we didn't. What are you talking about? He's a more. She looked at the other guy, and went, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
It's like, even she is like, I'm done with this now. Okay, I've had enough.
Yeah, behind the scenes, it's clear that there's obviously some distrust and what have you going on, but
it's, I don't know,
they need to put it in formal writing.
It's, I don't know, I think the reason they're sticking so close to him right now is because, let's face it, everyone knows once the police investigation is finished, it's either going to go, well, the police are corrupt because they're not actually prosecuting him for the actual crimes he committed, or it's he can just get away with it.
Yeah, it's amazing, all of a sudden, at that moment when Sue Gray was going to release her findings in full, that Cressida Dick comes in and says, right, we're going to investigate it now. Somehow delay the process by months now, so that everyone will forget about it.
I think I don't know. I understand what she was saying. Like, well, no, we're independent. We go off of that. It's like, yeah, okay, who pays you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we get paid by the taxpayers. No, where does the taxpayers' money go before you get paid? The Treasury. There you go then. You get paid by the government. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you're not independent. Doesn't matter how you want to spin it, your paycheck comes from the man at the top.
It's kind of suspicious how it is, like, that timing, just to kind of throw heat away from Boris.
Yeah. I think the only way the police could even remotely get close to that... This is the problem that the police have. It's a lose-lose, right? Because if they don't do something about it and don't actually charge him with something or fine him or whatever... they're going to be accused of being biased, of being corrupt, of not giving a shit, basically, about, the people. But if they do charge him with something, you can bet your ass that every Tory MP is going to stand up and say, that's not fair, you can't do that. They can't win.
Yeah, the rules are too complicated at the time.
It's really stupid. Like, there needs to be just a clear, defined line of just, you broke the rules, shut up and pay.
Yeah,
like,
if weeks ago he just like kind of admitted it, yes, we did with their wrongdoings, and I take full responsibility, I'm very sorry, I will pay any fines.
Yeah.
Or whatever, because it's only a fine at the end of the day, it's not a prison sentence.
Yeah, exactly. But I think what he should have done, is not fucking do the parties anyway.
It's just the constant lying in Parliament.
Yeah, because he's done it, what he should have done is, when he did that apology a couple of weeks ago, he should have just gone, do you know what? I may as well come clean about everything, and Mr. Speaker, I'm going to hand my resignation in, and someone else can take over for me, because clearly I cannot be trusted. And I bet he would have had way more support for that, and way more respect given to him. But instead he just went, but no one told me the rules, Mr. Speaker. The rules that I made with the two idiots behind me, we're not investigating fraud, Mr. Speaker. It's not a crime. That's like...
Yeah. His address to Parliament in the days after the report came out was just like, I thought he was building up to a resignation. It's like, I'd first like to say I'm sorry. Yeah. There's going to be some drastic changes. And then it's like all kind of just fluff from then on. Like, oh yes, we're going to shake up the number 10, have an office of number 10 and all this.
Yeah.
Basically, nothing will change. But I think they already had this office of number 10, but they got rid of it.
Yeah.
And now they're going to put it back.
I don't know. It's I think the only person that I could say in Parliament, and I'm not a fan. Again, I don't know the Scottish politics that well, but and I know the SNP are apparently well liked, but I know there's a lot of people that don't like them. But I have to admit, Ian Blackford stood his ground and went, "He's a liar. I've just proven to you why he's a liar. Why are you making me redact something that isn't a lie?" And he just went, "You're going to have to redact it. Fuck off." He can call him a liar. All right. But it's...
I am not redacting it.
Mr. Speaker, I've just given the evidence of the 6th of whatever. He's just like, give me the paper.
Viewing. It's like a soap opera.
I get it, though, because I guess the Speaker has, strict code and strict rules. And, I mean, he even said himself I think it was a day or two later in the House, he was like, if you want me to have more power, give me more power. He went, I'm stringent. I have to follow the rules. That is part of this House of Cards. That is the rules I have to follow. If you want me to have more power, give me more power. And I think they should.
Yeah.
I think he should have the power to turn to the Prime Minister and say, that is a lie. Stop lying out of your ass and tell the truth. I think he should have that power, because I think and regardless of who's in power, right? It doesn't matter what party's in power. You should be held accountable for lying to the public or lying to the other people in Parliament. It's as simple as that.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
So they pass it off as one.
Yeah, and I think that's the shambles of it, right? Because you look at something like the US or or any other continent, and the Prime Minister in the West or their leader in the West, and then you look at the UK and you're like, you watch their kind of conversations and stuff happen. No one's cheering. No one's making stupid woo noises. No one's trying to stand up and oh, you can't say that. Literally, it's only the UK.
Yeah.
It's like, way! You can't call him a liar though. It's doesn't make any sense. I don't know, and we wonder why other powers in the world look at us and go, they're not really a threat. Look at them.
I know. While all that was going on, he missed the call with Putin. And then
I only recently heard about this.
It's actual problems have to be dealt with, but it's a big distraction. They'll probably use that to their power, saying, all this opposition calling us out for some parties. We're all sick of hearing about parties, but it's not really about the parties. It's about the distrust and lying to Parliament.
You're not trustworthy. You broke your own rules in COVID, and we're expecting you to deal with a serious situation in the Ukraine. Are you fucking for real?
But they just want us to get bored of it. There are definitely more pressing issues to be going on with at the same time.
Definitely. I think Keir put it best when he said, unfortunately, the country isn't getting any better, or it's just going to get worse because everyone's too focused on the idiot in the front.
Yeah.
Which is true. Yeah. But yeah, on the topic of Putin and missed calls, should we have a little chat about what's going on with the Ukraine and Russia?
Yes.
A very scary situation going on. I mean, it's not the first time this has happened. Russia has gone, I've got a bigger dick than you, and decided, no, Ukraine can't join NATO. Here's me big old floppy cock. I'm going to just dump a bunch of troops here. Fudge you.
Yeah.
Which is not shocking. I'll tell you what the scary thing for me is about this, is the fact that China has fished... Well, they've clearly shown they're willing to work with Russia.
Yeah.
And they've got the biggest military on the planet. So if Russia goes through with this, they've got the backing of China.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive. North Korea won't work with Russia because they can't stand China. I get that. But you could be damn sure if a war breaks out, North Korea will take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And just throw everything they've got at America and whatever. Like, I don't know. It's a very scary situation that I get very anxious about.
Yeah, it's all like flexing, I feel like. I don't think Putin will actually invade Ukraine. I feel like it is just a kind of a move just to see how people react and, you know, look how powerful they are. But like people like that can't continue to act the way they are.
Yeah.
But it's just their democracy. Well, I don't know if it's democracy over there, but it's their kind of political system.
Well, it's like the UK. It's a democratic dictator. You vote them in, but they're a dictator. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, He's obviously put loads of troops there, and you know, every NATO country has puts saying we're going to have sanctions against Russia. And...
Well, I think in the Ukraine, I think the Ukrainian president, was it president or prime minister? I think it's the prime minister of Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
I think he said along the lines of, you know, America have never put troops in here, let alone technology. Russia has constantly had troops in the Ukraine and technology. So it's kind of like Ukraine basically are just saying, go away, you don't own us. And then Russia's just gone, I don't know if I believe you. And just, yeah. And now they're obviously, I think Putin's trying to prove a point. He's like, you can throw whatever you like at me. I'm not going to back down. But I think that is the risk of what might escalate it. You know, I think the only thing that came out about China and Russia was that Russia agreed to give China power and sort of help with certain things. But you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You know, Winnie the Pooh might have turned and said, yeah, I'm more than happy to give you X amount of troops if something goes wrong, you know? We've got all this technology that we can throw at them as well, you know? Look at the UK. They can't even run it.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the Cuban Missile Crisis a little bit when like every kind of world leader assumes that the other one isn't going to go further, but then they go further and further and further and further. Yeah. And then it kind of gets to that tipping point where it's like, are they or aren't they?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where we're at now. Because Putin isn't backing down. Like, he's not backed down. He's not pulled his troops out. I think none of NATO have put their troops actually in the Ukraine yet. I think it's just on the outskirts. I think France, Germany, the US, UK, I think we've all sent stuff over. But Russia's also come over with ships into the waters next to, I don't know if it was France or the UK. I can't remember, but around that area.
Yeah.
And they're obviously, Russia are just like, oh, hello, you want to come and join us, do you?
It's like they're trying to egg another country on to start.
Yeah. They want another country to throw the first punch.
Then they want to go the retaliation route, like we're just defending ourselves.
Yeah. And they're trying to be very smart about it, but I mean, everyone knows Russia.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that, you know, lessons from the past will have been learned, and we will not kind of bow down to Putin and allow this to happen and not give in to the mind games and what have you. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm hopeful that something won't happen because nothing's happened before. But
Putin said, "We're not going to invade Ukraine." He's like,
"We're not invading Ukraine. We're just doing some exercises." What, with 100,000 troops? What's wrong with you? Keep your top on and run the country. Like, I don't know, it's crazy. I think
people in power.
Yeah, I think the scariest part about it is that normally with this stuff it's become so normalized that we just go, oh, it's just Russia flexing again, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not a healthy mindset to have to this. I feel like it's like, you know, what if this time he is like push, and he's just like, I'm not stopping. You're gonna have to stop me. And it's imagine that day when Russia pushes it too far and you just see Boris, I must tell the people we are in trouble.
We're fucked.
We're fucked. I've got a little shelter. You haven't.
Yeah. Time to eat some cake in my shelter.
Like, I'm sorry, I can't defend the country. You're all screwed. Learn Russian very quickly. But I don't know. I don't know if something will break out that serious or whatever, but I mean, it's a scary prospect, I guess, to think about.
Yeah. I mean, I hope, fingers crossed, nothing too serious is happening in the near future, and it all kind of a period of detente will happen with easing of tensions.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be very concerning if it did not.
Yeah, well, the alternative is war.
Never changes. That's when we'll have fucking National Guard or the National Service come back in.
Yeah. Oh, the people in charge will just set off the nukes everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I hope not. I think that's the thing, though. No, I don't think anyone will throw a nuke because it's not winnable. You lose. Everyone loses at that point. But that doesn't mean they haven't got. There are bombs out there that aren't nukes that are 50,000 times stronger than Hiroshima. So imagine setting one of them off. The UK would be gone. Oh no, the podcast. I didn't
just put it on like Newcastle or something.
Yeah, just they'll fucking absorb it. They're tough some bitches.
But yes, anyway, we shall move on from that.
Yeah.
From imminent death of everyone to imminent death of people on the highway.
Hey.
The highway code changed.
Yeah, I saw this.
So obviously it's about like a level of priority for people. So obviously the people at the top of the list are civilians and then cyclists, and basically the bigger you are, your vehicle is, then like the less priority you have on the roads, which is a bit weird when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because you can't imagine someone jogging on the motorway and then a lorry having to obey.
I have to make way for this idiot.
But yeah, it's basically it's something that just causes extra confusion. I feel like certain rule. I think one of them is that the pedestrians can just walk out into a side road, and if you're turning in from a main road, you've got to kind of just let them have priority. And like, even if they've not started crossing yet. You've got to kind of just decide whether they're going to cross, like even if you're turning into it, and then just let them go, which is just causes confusion. And bikes can now ride in the center of the lane.
Oh no, that's stupid.
Which is like,
I'm never learning to drive because I won't obey that.
I know they say all these things are like optional right now, but
optional. The fuck do you mean optional?
That causes even more confusion.
Yeah, how am I meant to predict what this person's going to do? I don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And two, why is it... if it's optional, does that mean I can just run them down and accuse them of being incompetent? Or are you going to go, well, look at the code?
Yeah, well, I mean, any kind of incident that happens from now on, they'll throw the book at you, won't they? Because, it's in the highway code, you should have done this, you should have done that.
Yeah, it's also optional.
And I've been out driving since these rules came into place, and I've experienced a couple of situations where it has made things more confusing.
Yeah.
One where I was like turning into a supermarket, and someone just decided not even to look and just to walk out into the front of the car and like try and cross the road when I was trying to turn into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I guess that's okay now because they have priority.
Stupid.
But they don't even look anymore. It's kind of like what happened to look both ways, look left, look right, look again, like that little hedgehog crossing the road.
Yeah.
Stop, look and go.
I remember that. Yeah.
Now it's just go.
It's fucking stupid. This is why I just won't learn to drive, because I won't obey that. If someone walks out in front of a fucking 2-ton car and thinks they're going to be safe, they don't deserve to be left on the fucking road. Yeah. I'm sorry. Isn't the highway code meant to be there to look after people, to make sure it's safe? And you're going, hey, if you're travelling at 30 miles an hour, you're coming up to a junction that you're going to slow down naturally for anyway. But if you're going from, let's say, 10 miles an hour to nothing, it still takes time to stop. So if you're coming around that corner and someone just then goes, do you know what, I fancy going out in front of the road now, I just want to cross, whose fault's that at that point? Is it the driver's because the person didn't go sooner, or are you, Boris, gonna just go back to common sense?
And it's gonna increase the risk of people shunting you from behind because they're not anticipating you stopping. They might not be able to see the pedestrian waiting to cross.
I think there's a lot. It's very stupid. At least from my limited knowledge. Again, I can't drive. I know the highway code a bit, but probably not enough to pass a test. But
even as a pedestrian, it's like I kind of get to like the edge of junctions, and like I don't want people to be like beckoning me across because another car might not know, or apparently only like 30% of people actually are aware that the highway code has changed and stuff like that. So either they don't know or people don't care. Some people will just go anyway.
I think it's going to cause a lot more accidents.
Yeah, and I don't agree with the message. It's like teaching kids just to like not even bother looking really, because you have priority anyway. Just it's kind of bowing down to the people who's looking at the phones all the time, not even paying attention to anything. And with all the electric cars these days, cars don't even make a sound.
Yeah, so. I mean, when I was a kid, we had phones and stuff. Yeah, but it wasn't like a smartphone or anything. So it was kind of, Christ, that shows my age. That's when you were like out or something, you'd have like a flip phone or a brick, as I like to call it. And you wouldn't be staring at your phone, and you'd see a car come in, but you could see it was ages off, so you could get across in time or whatever. Like, kids will be kids, they'll be cheeky and whatnot. But I think having that as a precedent, especially as you say with technology as it is now, and people just looking at their phones constantly, I think this opens it up to probably a lot more accidents and serious injuries and problems for the emergency services. I don't know. From my limited knowledge of it, I think it's a stupid change, and it's one that shouldn't go through forever. I think it's like, oh, okay, well, this clearly
need to amend that at some point. But obviously, it's made by people who either don't drive or just don't care about having.
Who the fuck? Who gave them that? It's like, you don't drive. You make the rules for driving. Where's the logic? It's like people
cyclists even worse.
It's like people who do the taxes don't pay taxes, so they don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, it's people who make the decisions for the normal working person aren't normal.
Yeah, exactly. Or working. But I don't know. It's a crazy change to a system that already needs serious updates to it.
Yeah. It just doesn't work very well on a street level. It probably sounds great on a textbook.
I mean, it's like roundabouts. Roundabouts never used to have traffic lights on them. Like, so, and the only reason I know this is because when my mum learned to drive, they didn't have traffic, it wasn't a thing. And look how complicated they've become. Does that mean on a junction when you're going around a corner that someone can just walk out now?
No, I don't know what it means for roundabouts.
Like, there's no specifics. Like, they're just like, brush it with a paintbrush.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone that doesn't drive. like, if I'm thinking about this, I can't imagine like how you feel driving on the road and like other
confusing.
people.
You just have to kind of judge things before they even happen. It's just one more thing to think about.
I think it's because they're trying to make people not drive.
Yeah,
that's the point of it, isn't it? It's they don't want people driving anymore. And it's like, well, for some people, it's a fucking necessary evil they have to do.
I know, yeah. It's like, what is the alternative? It's public transport, but it's not always, as easy as that.
Yeah, public transport's crap because it's underfunded.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So at least give us an alternative. Good option.
Yeah, exactly. Give us an alternative option that works, and people will stop driving so much.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah. Any more news, good sir?
There's been a bit of a kind of controversy amongst the dwarfism community.
News to me.
Basically, Disney are obviously bringing out this new Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and it's a bit of controversy. Like, should we use actual dwarves, or is that discriminatory towards dwarves or little people or people of restricted growth?
Yeah.
But Peter Dinklage has come out and said, yes, it is offensive to use dwarves in this film. So this is a guy who is at the top of his career game, like absolutely kind of restricting other actors who have dwarfism to not work.
Yeah.
Like what are you supposed to do? It's like, I think that the benefits of having dwarves as actors, it gives them recognition. It gives them,
I don't know. To me, it just seems like such a stupid fucking problem to have. Like, they don't all need to be dwarfs. You don't specifically cast on someone's disability.
No.
But you can if you want to. Like, not all of them have to be dwarfs. There are ways to have people become those characters. And I think for someone like Peter Dinklage to come out and say something so... I mean, again, I'm not speaking on behalf of people who suffer with those disabilities. Obviously, I don't suffer with that, so I can't speak on behalf of their struggles. But I can't imagine that helps. Let's be more let's make it more difficult for people who are like that to have a role or whatever. I don't know. Should it exclusively go to people with dwarfism? No. No, that is stupid.
Yeah.
But should it exclusively go to actors who don't have it? No. Have a mix of both.
Should they CGI it in?
Do you know what the best way to do is? Let people fucking go and take an opportunity to do the role. If they're good at the role, fucking cast them in the role. Why is this even fucking a discussion we're having? There are so many worse issues other than, oh my goodness, who do we cast in this position in this shit film?
Yeah, that's just this day and age. People getting offended and
friggin' pathetic.
Not having other things to think about other than the next Disney film and dwarves.
It's meant to be entertainment. Why do people look into it so much? What does it matter? That's the question that it comes down to. Is I do think that people with disabilities should have more of a predominant role in like film and TV. As someone that is disabled, I think it would greatly benefit the community. But do I think it should be done unnecessarily or at the cost of a cast member not being up to par with the standard they need to be? No. Just cast whoever fits the role well. Doesn't matter their height. The fuck? No. But they're dwarfs. Then fuck it. There's so many. Look at the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The hobbits aren't that small. The actors are not that tiny. But look how well they acted. That's what should matter, is the quality of the acting over, is this person's height over 5 feet?
I think a lot of it is people kind of getting offended on behalf of, communities.
Exactly.
But obviously it doesn't help that Peter Dinklage mentions it, a guy at the peak of his career.
Yeah. But, I think that is very irresponsible of him to say. I think absolutely have an opinion on it. That's fine. But
it's because I want all the roles.
I don't know. It just seems so stupid to me.
Yeah.
Like Warwick Davis, one of the perfect examples for someone with dwarfism that has done acting, has had huge roles in Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, like everything. But he's also played roles like Willow that didn't necessarily have to be, a small person playing that role, but they designed it around him to do that. And yes, the dwarfs are short, they are small, they are, that's why they're called dwarfs. But I mean, I don't know, it just seems like such a pointless argument to me. Like, I don't give a shit who's cast in the role as long as they do well in the role.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it'd be nice to see some, inclusivity with disabled people, but I don't care. As long as the film is entertaining, that's all I give a shit about.
Yeah, it's good to see some representation of every walk of life.
Do they all do they all have to be it? No. Do they all not have to be it? No. Like, find a middle ground if you want to. But,
you absolutely have to. But even if they are all dwarves, I don't care.
Even if none of them are dwarves, doesn't matter. Like, why do people feel the need to have to not only speak on behalf of other people, but find an issue where there isn't a fucking issue? Like, it's a bloody film. It's not gonna, there are plenty of films out there, there's plenty of TV shows. If you are that annoyed at the fact that they didn't cast someone you think they should have, don't watch the film. It's really easy. I think, don't be a Twitter warrior and go on there like, my opinion's important. No one cares.
I think the reason why it's so focused on dwarves is because of all the recent information that's is dwarf an offensive term, because it's all associated with mythical creatures and stuff. But I don't know.
I think that's, again, I can't speak on behalf of people who suffer with the condition, by the way, that is medically called dwarfism. I can't speak on behalf of them, right?
No.
If someone came up to me with dwarfism and said, I don't like being called a dwarf, I find it offensive, I wouldn't call them it. Simple.
Yeah, the friendly term is little person, I think.
Do you know, I wouldn't call them that anyway. I'd call them by their name. It's just such a stupid argument.
Obviously we had to in England we had to change a famous brand of sweets to not be called midget gems, but to be called something else.
Oh yeah, and Borderlands changed it as well.
Yeah.
Like Borderlands 3 don't have what was an enemy, by the way, in the Borderlands series was midgets, I believe they were called. And in Borderlands, James, and in Borderlands 3, I can't remember what they changed it to, but they got rid of it because they were like, well, it's an offensive term.
Yeah.
All right, okay, if it is an offensive term, fair enough. I support that change. Still in the other games, though. You didn't care that much, did you? Like, that's my point. It's so hypocritical and like, well, just in the moment we give a fuck.
So trendy in the moment, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it just seems so fucking ridiculous. You know what? If you're looking at a friend that has dwarfism and you call them a dwarf, you are the problem. Call them their name.
Yeah.
Like, it's really easy.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. It's really easy, you know. It's not hard. I don't know. It just seems so. It seems like such a pointless argument to me.
Yeah, I know.
It's just people being angry for the sake of being angry. I don't know.
Yeah, that should be a separate section in the news. Just the pointless woke
Shit that doesn't matter.
offendedness. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Again, right? I'm not saying that inclusivity is bad. It absolutely is a good thing, and it should happen. But it doesn't have to. It's not a big deal.
I know. It is a Disney film at the end of the day where you go to escape real world issues.
Films are meant to be fantasy. Notice that word, fantasy. It's not real. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous.
If people look so much into anything, they can find something to,
If people find
broad about.
Yeah, if people find stuff like that they get upset about, they have too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you do. Yeah. Focus on your own life.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've got for news at this point.
Yeah, same for me.
There's obviously the rising energy bills, but that's kind of a bit boring, isn't it?
Yeah, I think rising energy bills, stupid. There's my opinion on it.
Yeah, government needs to come in, and I think we're like the furthest behind on every country of like introducing help for people.
What a shock! Who would have thought it?
It's just like, oh well, you can afford it, so deal with it.
Yeah, he just spouts lies. Best way to do it is just lie to the public.
Yes. But yeah,
let's move on to the gaming. Because it's been a good week for gaming. Or good 2 weeks, I should say. I always say week. It's always 2 weeks that we do these now. It's fortnight.
I know.
Speaking of Fortnite...
Oh, God.
Let's just get this out of the way. Our weekly Fortnite section. Fortnightly Fortnite. I don't know. But yeah. Too many Fortnites.
Just get it out.
Just get on with it. So Dwayne came out.
Dwayne.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes.
With the eyebrow and everything. So, what do we think?
Great. Foundation, yeah. He's an important character in the lore, and it's nice to have him as a character.
It's fun.
It's funny to go around. Like, literally, everyone is wearing the Dwayne skin.
I know. That's all you ever see.
Killed by Dwayne.
Everywhere you go, it's just Dwayne.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's good though.
Yeah, it's a good skin. I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that they're still trying to pump stuff into the game, even through. We're coming toward the end now of the first chapter of season 3, so I've still not got to 200. I'm just bored. I think that's the one thing I will say is now I'm getting bored. And it's not. I think it's because I've just put so much time and effort into the last seasons as well. It's like I want a break.
Yeah, I've got to 200 and now I'm just like not really playing it unless there's anything that new comes out or new things to unlock. But I appreciate that bringing out more characters from the comics and stuff.
Nice, yeah. Hopefully they'll do more. I hope that's something I will say. I hope they do more comic crossover kind of things because I enjoyed the Foundation and the one shot.
Yeah,
they were actually really good.
Be nice to have what comic series would you like to blend with Fortnite?
Ooh, good question.
I think a Walking Dead comic, like a new comic series with that would be.
I think if
cool.
Robert Kirkman was willing to do it,
there is already Walking Dead characters in.
I think that's the weird thing, isn't it? Like, I don't understand why DC was the only one they crossed over with because they've had Marvel, they've had plenty of Marvel stuff. Unless they did, maybe they did, and we just didn't. We missed it. I don't know.
Well, they had like a Marvel season. So that was like in game.
Yeah.
they had to defeat Galactus, and you work with Iron Man and all this. But yeah, as far as comics, they got more scope with comics, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I don't know, maybe there's a few good ones I think they could do, but yeah, it's fun. It's Fortnite. That's pretty much it. We won't be talking about it next week. There's nothing else to talk on. Next. What have you got something good?
Well, I was playing Planet Coaster a little bit.
Oh yeah, the new PS Plus games.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd be so into it. I did used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff like that when I was younger, and I did quite enjoy it. And Zoo Tycoon, it's quite nice. This one's more kind of focused on the building aspects rather than the management, but it's good. I've been trying to make a coaster which looks amazing, but it still gets a high sick. Like the testing customers who go on it are still too scared and too sick by the end of it for it to be released, so it doesn't get past the testing phase. So I'm still working on my first coaster. But I think they've got no sense of thrill, these customers. Like 90-degree drops and 7,000 loops.
How dare they not enjoy it? Yeah.
Apparently they get too sick and queasy when the track turns like that.
Silly bastards. Yeah. But there was also some controversy, which I was not aware of with the PS Plus games, which was that the Tiny Tina's One Keep Adventure, which I already owned, great, was actually a Borderlands 2 DLC. I thought it was its own separate thing. Apparently not. Apparently it was like a little DLC add-on. So people are complaining that it's wrong that they've released that as a thing because it's only a small DLC thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
It's kind of annoying, but hopefully they get some better games for next month, and then I will forgive them.
Yeah, like as everyone does.
Yeah, because apparently next month we're getting GTA Online, the next-gen version.
Yeah, because that's coming out in March, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So that's pretty cool, but I think everyone already owns GTA by now. But
I think we're all going to be going back and playing GTA for a bit. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think they're bringing out like a new NPC which mods your cars so that it can take advantage of the next gen thing. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. So apparently you can go faster on next gen.
Yeah.
Because the world can stream faster and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. But I feel like it's not going to be very minimal changes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like that thing. We'll go on, we'll play it for like a day or something.
If you can still matchmake with people from previous gens, then how is it fair that you get to go faster in races and stuff?
Yeah, maybe you can't do activities with people. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm intrigued to find out.
Yeah. And then what was the other PS Plus game? It was UFC 4?
Oh yeah, we just don't talk about that.
Alright, it's a fighting game, cool.
If you're interested in that kind of game, then check out someone else who's interested.
Go and check it out. But yes. So anything else?
So obviously we both picked up Dying Light 2 on release day.
Yes.
Which is we're having a blast so far. Well, I won't speak for you, but
I put 10 hours into it, and I'm not even out of the prologue area.
Yeah, probably done about the same or a bit more maybe. But
I can't. I want to do everything, but then I'm like, this is going to take forever.
Yeah, as soon as I shut my eyes last night, all I was thinking about was parkour.
Parkour.
But yeah, it's a very fun game. Like all the reviews were kind of good, but they weren't like the best because they were saying, the story is not, it's not the next Last of Us.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone is expecting that. Have you played the previous game?
Fuck off!
Is that the
Scrap your pie and fuck off! They do this every fucking week.
Yeah, I actually heard one of those guys for the first time at some point around here.
I mean,
I was like, what the hell is that?
I mean, I get they do a great service by, taking away, like, iron and metal and stuff that we can't get rid of normally, but
you save your trip to the tip.
You don't have to blare it out over and over and over on the fucking horn. Just say it once. That's all you need to do.
Once is plenty.
Once is plenty. Apologies. Right. Anyway, where were we?
Yeah, all the reviews were kind of good. They were saying it wasn't like story-wise the Last of Us and stuff like that. But I mean, I think the story is adequate and fine enough for a game like this, where the main focus is on parkour and gameplay, and killing zombies and killing humans.
Do you know what the thing is? Like, what I found, and I'm looking at the Metacritic score now, just to have some ideas. But critics are giving this better reviews than people, like the actual audience that are playing the game. And I tell you why I think, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but the first, say, half the time I've been playing the game so far, the first half, I didn't like it. I felt like the combat was sluggish. I felt like everything was a bit off. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it felt like off. The fact that my weapons couldn't be repaired, the extra step to kick an enemy felt a bit weird to me. It felt like they unnecessarily complicated it. But I think you have to give it time. It's a game you have to invest time into. And as you play, I think you said it last night, actually, while we were playing it, which I found really, really cool, which you said was, I feel like it's getting better as I play. Because you're getting stronger and...
Like, progression is slow, but you need to kind of keep on playing give it a good couple of hours to kind of get better, get more skills. And the skills are everything in this game. You get, like, more and more as you go on. Yeah. It improves the experience a lot. So you're not supposed to start out, like, in Tarzan.
Yeah. You're not meant to be super like strong or anything in the beginning. It was the same with Dying Light 1. I feel like people in the beginning were like really hard on it, but then as people played it, they were like, "Oh, actually, it's really good."
You can tell in like a year's time, people are going to be like, "This is a hidden gem."
It's in
the hidden gem category.
It's like
like Days Gone and stuff like that.
It was a great game when it came out. Granted, Days Gone was fucked when it came out. It was buggy as hell and broken, but I still loved it. And I love Dying Light 2. I love Dying Light 1. I love the fact that I'm going to have a reason to play through it a second time.
Yeah.
Because I want to see... There are side missions that have multiple outcomes as well, as we found out with one of the ones we did. And I thought I had a good ending for it.
Yeah.
But no spoilers.
Well, you had a better one than mine.
Well, I don't really know if it was. But I mean, kind of, I guess. But it's
a dignified ending.
Yeah. But I think I do understand some people's grievances with it. So the autosave system, like you finish a quest, that's it. You can't redo it. You can't go back and do it again. You have to just carry on. I can understand why some people might be a bit miffed with that, because I understand, as someone that does like to try and get the best results every time that I play, and try to get like the most positive outcomes and stuff, I can understand why people are a bit miffed if they're like, well, I clicked something that I thought it wasn't going to end like that. So I can kind of get that, but I guess that's part of the forced RPG experience,
Yeah.
That's how you're meant to play it, is, oh, well, I've made this choice, I have to live with it now. So...
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like, even if the outcome isn't what you expected for it, then you still have to kind of just go with it, because, I don't know, that's just how it is.
Would you, if out of the stuff you've played, then what would you say is room for improvement with the game? Because again, this is just a first impressions. Like, we're 10 hours into a game that is apparently, if you're trying to do everything, takes 500 hours. So I mean, first impressions.
The only really downfall, I suppose, was some of the the voice actors and some of the interactions you have with people, and they just don't sound like actual humans. Sound like they found them on first acting job website or something. It's not. Doesn't bother me too much.
It's like it's like those nitpicky things. Isn't it?
It's just the nitpicky things, and there's a few little bugs in the game and stuff, which I'm sure they'll get fixed. Apparently, there's a patch coming this week.
Yeah.
But maybe the combat against humans maybe needs a little bit more refining or something.
I think there's a few. I didn't have any bugs until we did co-op.
Yeah.
Until we played together. Then everything was breaking. Bodies glitching out. I couldn't pick stuff up.
Yeah.
A mission broke, so we couldn't do the mission. And then we had to come back later.
Yeah, we managed to get it done eventually.
Yeah. I think there are a few quality of life things that need to improve. But other than that, I would say considering the scope of the game, I actually didn't realise that I was in just the prologue area map until you joined my game and was like, you realise this is just the first area? I was like, what?
Yeah.
So for the size, scope, and how much they've tried to fit into this game, I feel like I can forgive a few little bugs here and there and a few problems. Not saying that it's okay for that. I think games should come out completed. I'm not, patches shouldn't be a necessary thing. But if you have the advantage to do it, yeah, patch stuff and improve it. And I think there are a few things that need to be improved with it, and especially turning off the fucking triggers. That's the fact that's not a function is ridiculous. I think they focused so much on the gameplay, they've kind of forgotten about the back end stuff. If that would be my complaint.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't really agree with people saying it's a broken mess. Like, I
don't agree with that.
I've experienced like a handful of bugs and stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, in 10 hours, the only time I had any bugs was co-op. That's it.
Yeah.
And I literally am. Ask Sean. I'm just doing the side stuff. I'm not made barely any progress on the story.
Yeah.
But it's. Yeah, no, I'd say back-end stuff is probably worse than the actual game itself. And that's just, I guess, like, not being able to turn off motion blur and things like that. Like, I get motion sickness quite easily, so having that turned off helps. Just quality of life things, which hopefully they'll bring out soon.
They are committed to their games and they continue to update.
Yeah, they are, yeah. I mean, Dying Light 1, that's still getting updates. And they've got, like... Oh, that's all right. Okay, here's my one gripe. So when you there's some rewards when you pre-order the game and things like that. You get rewards and things, but you have to go on their website, connect everything up, and then do it through that. Why?
Yeah.
Every other game I can get the soundtrack just by downloading it on the PlayStation Tetland. Why have you made it so complicated? It doesn't. I mean, it's not like a hard thing to do, but my one isn't working. You're not giving me the stuff I paid for.
Yeah.
So maybe that.
Don't buy the deluxe edition, folks.
Don't do it. Don't do it. But I wanted to
buy the extended DVD.
I wasn't, and also this disparity between the ultimate and the deluxe one, like that makes no sense to me. An extra tenner for one thing.
Yeah.
Why?
You get a skin that you can't even see when you have it on.
Yeah, literally. I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one, that. But other than that, I've had a good time with the game so far. I'm sure I'm going to pump way more hours into it now today and for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good game overall. I think people are so used to having games that just so quick.
Yeah.
And quick and easy, and I get the pattern and stuff, whereas Dying Light 2 kind of goes against that, giving you barely anything and then making you better as you play.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people don't like
it. A lot of games just serve up, the dessert, whereas this is more of a main course.
Perfect example of that, Far Cry. You go into that, you can literally buy out the best guns in the game straight away, and that's it. You know? That you can be as strong as... Whereas with Dying Light 2, it forces you to have to play and explore and struggle at the beginning to...
Yeah.
Which I like. I'm not normally a fan of that, but I like
that. As you get used to it more, like your skill gets better, and then the other skills kind of come in.
It's definitely one that takes time to get used to, because it isn't like a normal game. It's not like RT to fight and LT to block. It's like, hold this button, now press this button along with this button.
To do a kick.
To do a kick, So it's like, oh, okay, that's a bit annoying, but it makes sense.
I've got a lot of getting used to with the buttons and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, it works, and I can't really complain at it.
Yeah.
I'm
liking it so far. I'm looking forward to going back to it.
Yeah, definitely.
When the 60 frames update drops for Dying Light 1, we'll definitely go back to playing that as well.
Oh, yeah. No, I went to play back to play that, but I was just like... it's not that I can't play a game in 30 frames, but now my eyes are so adjusted that it just looks weird and I get sick. I get motion sickness from it, and it's really bad. Unless it's super smooth, which with Dying Light 1 it is not.
Yeah.
So...
I did mess around with the quality settings on Dying Light 2, and I was like, no, I can't do this. It's got to be for fun.
That's the thing. Like I said, the back end stuff for it is not very good. Like, there's not a lot of settings on it, which I found really odd. Apparently on PC it's like loads, and then you look at the PlayStation, it's fuck all.
Yeah, you were expecting 4K or something.
Yeah. Oh, so right,
1080p.
okay. This is a little nitpicky thing. Yeah. Because normally most games now, if you're playing them on next gen, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation, it's like 4K upscaled, so it's 1080 upscaled, 60 frames. For whatever reason, they were like, nah, just 1080. I know, first world problem. I know. I'm sorry, but it just shocked me because I was like playing it. I was like, this looks a bit not very good. And then I looked through the settings and stuff, and I was like, oh god. And I put it into quality. It was not running at 30 frames. It wasn't. It was like hitting 20, maybe even 10. I was like, okay, yeah, no performance. I'd rather be 1080, 60 frames. That's fine. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that I'm nitpicking there, but that's how good the game is. I have to nitpick to find.
You have
something.
to find something. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would say go and get it.
If
If you love Dying Light 1, you're gonna absolutely adore Dying Light 2. Basically.
If you just like exploration and combat and stuff with handheld things, then yes.
I can't really comment on the story because I've not done enough of it.
Yeah, don't go in looking for the next, blockbuster TV series level story.
Who fuck us into this? Looking for that? Like, you're looking at the wrong kind of game if that's what you're looking for. Like,
I know, yeah, just get Last of Us.
Yeah,
if you're looking for that.
Yeah, look, get any kind of Sony exclusive. Horizon's coming out soon. Play that. That will be story, heavy, intense.
People these days just expect every game to be everything for everyone.
And it's like that's not reasonable. Yeah, especially with Techland, they're not a big. Well, they are a big company, but in the grand scale of things, what I mean is like they're not humongously big. They haven't got a huge list of games under their belt. They've done the Call of Juarez games. They did obviously Dying Light 1 and now Dying Light 2 because as Sean said, they like to stick with that, which I commend them for. So
yeah, little but quality, not quantity, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd rather quality, not quantity.
Exactly.
But yeah. Oh, anything else you've got, good sir?
Sony acquiring Bungie.
Yes, interesting conversation. What do we think about that?
So yeah, obviously it kind of felt like a retaliation to like Microsoft buying Activision, but
it wasn't.
It wasn't because it's obviously in the in the planning stages for months.
I get why people thought that because of the timings, but these acquisitions take months, if not years. So there is no way that within 2 weeks of Activision announcing that they were being bought by Microsoft, there's no way that Sony would have got that deal done with Bungie in that time.
It seems weird. It's funny because Bungie fought so hard to kind of break away from Activision. And now they're just partnering with Sony.
But in all fairness, they did stay in their statement. They're still independent. They're still going to be doing everything independently. Sony isn't stopping them. Sony is not making any games exclusive for now.
It just begs the question, why buy them if they're going to be
I think it's because Sony are trying to get into the live service market, right? Because Factions, the Last of Us 2 multiplayer, is live service. That's why it's going to be a separate game, which is meant to be coming out this year. You've got Horizon, which is meant to be apparently partly live service. I don't know if it's fully, but partly. Apparently, Sony have 10 live service games because they don't. Let's be honest, Sony have been really good at this. They've just stuck with single player, story heavy experiences. So I understand why they kind of want to get into the live service market, but they don't know what they're doing. So buying Bungie, who have had Destiny for many years and have managed to keep it alive and do really well.
Almost like the king of live service.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Don't get me wrong. I do think Bungie have some egregious stuff that they do.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not as bad as some others. I mean, I think it's a smart move. It's a good company. I think it's more for the technology as well. I don't think they're buying Bungie for their game development as much. I think it's more their technology because Bungie have a lot of good technology.
Yeah.
Especially with what they took off Activision.
And it's a shooter as well, which is like something Sony don't have in-house.
Yeah, they don't really, do they? They have Souls-likes, they have RPGs, they have open worlds. Don't have any shooters. So I mean, I'm interested to see where this deal goes, especially with the independence thing. Like being able, like Bungie, they would have fought very hard for that, I reckon. Especially, like you say, after the Activision stuff, they would have been like, "No, we're not. You can't control anything we want to do. We'll happily be bought by you, but these are our terms. You do not get to control us." Simple.
Yeah.
But I think Sony are more forgiving like that. I honestly, I think a lot of. I've never heard. I mean, Sony have had bad experiences. I mean, just look at the guy that got done for trying to sleep with a 15-year-old who was high up in the company. But what I mean is, like, their studios, like From Software and... oh, Christ, I did have them in my head and I've forgotten them. But yeah, all their studios. I've not heard horror stories as such. I could be wrong, but I've not seen much. I know Microsoft are just as as far as I'm aware, just as good with that. But I don't know, the quality that comes out of Sony Studios. I mean, they're choosy for a reason, and I think buying Bungie is a strong move to make, especially with Destiny being so popular. Think about the sheer amount of money they're going to get from that.
Oh yeah, well they probably figured out that live service like Destiny can make a hell of a lot more money than a standalone release with DLC.
Not just that, but why would you have exclusives when you can sell them on both platforms? The platform
we've both seen firsthand the fandom that Destiny has on and the grip it has on certain people.
Yeah, I have a Shaggy. Yeah, he adores that game, and I've played it with him. It's fun to play it with him. I couldn't play it like that. I'll be honest. I want to go back to Destiny, but it's just trying to finish all the other games, because that's a problem with live services, and this is what scares me about them, is like, you never finish them. So when do you say, okay, I've had enough now?
It's not a game anymore, it's a way of life.
It is, literally.
But yeah, I do commend him for getting me through 2 raids, but I mean, I can't consistently do those. It's too stressful for me.
Look, I enjoy Destiny. I enjoy the story to Destiny 1 and 2, but maybe I'll have the time now because I'm more freed, but I've just got other games that I want to play. Yeah, I want to play more of Neverwinter. I haven't played that for years. But I don't know, it's crazy.
Right.
But yeah.
What's kind of anything else in game?
What's your thoughts on the Bungie thing, though? Like, do you think it's a good buy? Do you think it's a bit of a risky buy?
I think it's a good decision for them, and it also kind of levels out the playing field a little bit when it comes to if Microsoft want to make anything exclusive, then Sony have like maybe a little bit of influence, or maybe not making the games exclusive, but having the best way to play is on PlayStation, as it always has been. And they kind of make exclusive strikes and exclusive content for PlayStation users.
I hope they don't, but
which will obviously put people off, and so they'll be like, oh well, we've got this trick up our sleeve if you decide to make quite exclusive.
I do find it ironic though, right? Like Xbox now has Crash Bandicoot, and even though technically they don't have it, PlayStation now have Halo.
But technically they don't.
They don't, because 343 Studios owns Halo. But I mean, I think it's a good buy. I think Bungie did it because they needed the funds, and Sony did it because they wanted the technology.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of.
It's a wise move.
Yeah, and very smart.
I didn't see it coming. It's surprising, but it made sense.
Sony are very. I must admit. So I think Activision just goes, "Nom, I want it all." Whereas Sony goes, "All right, what can benefit us?
Pick that one out."
What can benefit us and make us better? And I think that's a very smart way to do it. I think Activision being bought by Microsoft is not the smartest move, especially with how much money it cost them.
Yeah, because with Bethesda and Activision, like, the games are good and they're polished, but, well, Bethesda.
Bugfesta for a reason.
Bethesda. But I wouldn't necessarily describe them as, I don't know, I can't really think of the word to describe them, but the same level of quality as, like, Sony first-party games.
Yeah, unless Microsoft really cracks down on them and says, no, you're not releasing that, it needs to be better.
They're kind of just like juggernauts, kind of recycling the same stuff.
Yeah, but so like we say, acquisitions can be a really positive thing for the gaming industry. Hopefully, both of these acquisitions now will cause a flood of positive stuff to happen, which is the best outcome from everyone, I think.
And competition is always good.
I did pose this question to myself actually before we came on stream, which was: imagine if Techland got bought by Sony. Like, I don't know what if we had to have a guess what studio, because let's face it, Sony are going to be buying studios left, right and centre, because they only buy one at a time. I feel like, I don't know if you'd agree with me, but I do think it would benefit them to go for a heavy hitter like Ubisoft, not EA. I wouldn't want them to buy EA. EA are a bunch of shitheads, but it'd be interesting to see if either Microsoft or Sony bought Ubisoft. I don't think Microsoft could get away with it, but I think Sony could. Yeah,
I don't know, because it doesn't kind of have the same goals and principles as Sony. I think Ubisoft, they're kind of like churning out one every year kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
that doesn't kind of align with the principles, I don't think, of Sony's quality standards. But
I mean, to be fair, Sony could do it.
They could do it.
They're worth 6.31 billion. Ubisoft is right now, although their stock has tanked because Yves Guillemot is an arse.
And apparently they've got like a 10 million or 30 million budget to spend on acquisitions. I don't know where they found these packs out. But
I think it's more just money that they've saved. That's why Phil Spencer has been able to splash on Microsoft, because he managed to save the money, whereas when they released the Xbox One originally, they didn't. Because they just wasted money on Kinect, which didn't work. So
it's probably interesting with Bungie thing that Microsoft probably offered them a deal first, and they must have declined it because they probably wanted more control over it.
I don't know, because although saying that, yeah, you are right. Like Sony, they are quite controlling, as far as I'm aware anyway, in the sense of quality and what their vision is. But I think with Bungie, they weren't going to get away with that. Again, Bungie left Activision for that exact reason. They were like, no, we're not doing this anymore. No.
Yeah,
so,
and then it turned out what money-hungry, greedy people they actually are.
I think that was part...
Turns out Activision was holding them back.
Do you know what? I think part of it was that, yes, and I think part of it was they were running out of money.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it makes so much sense that they agreed to have Sony buy them. Oh, puppy.
Yeah.
Because they probably went, we need money, but these are our terms. And Sony went, well, we need live service information. Those are our terms. And they went, cool, there's the middle ground.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely what happened.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But it's interesting. I don't know, I get very excited seeing the gaming industry turning like this and stuff being bought and changed hands and stuff. I like it.
Yeah, just see what like the future holds and what new directions the companies will take.
the decade of acquisition.
Yeah. It's kind of the kind of thing that in the short run nothing's going to change, but in the long run, maybe there's changes down the line.
Yeah, well, we already know Microsoft are going to make a lot of that exclusive.
Right? Yeah.
Which is annoying, but there we are. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. As like the more acquisitions Sony get, like the more it might level the playing field a little bit. And,
although
they've got some tricks up the sleeves.
I honestly don't think Sony are ever going to stop something like that.
Yeah, they could be the bigger guys, and that's why people will love them more and buy their consoles.
Yeah, I think Sony have lowered their projection on how many PS5s they've sold, but it's not for popularity. It's literally because they can't make them. They've run out. They actually went back to make more PS4s for a bit. That's how low they've been.
It does say something when you can still go up to a shop and not see a single PS5 or buy one, but you can get an Xbox.
They're being sold like crazy. Apparently, after Bungie's announcement of the acquisition, apparently PlayStation's online, if you buy them like off Scalper or second-hand one, boosted from like something like 600 to 800 because everyone was trying to buy a PlayStation. All of a sudden, it's like you're being a bit premature there. Like, it's still very, very early on. I think the Bungie deal will go through before Microsoft and Activision, but I don't think. Again, Sony have said nothing's changing. Like we're not taking Destiny away. We're not splitting anyone up like Microsoft. we're just,
It's like it's funny how they word these things like
it
where they may be able to go back on the future, or like in Microsoft's case, they obviously worded it like we're not looking to take away games from players, but
for now.
And then the deal actually goes through, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be exclusive.
Well, that's what they've said, isn't it? They've said they're willing to. Microsoft have been at least they've been honest with it. They were like, no, we're going to agree, we're going to finish off the contracts we've got, and that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else will be with us because it's on our service, on the cloud, on Game Pass. So
yeah, it made me laugh as soon as you heard of the Bethesda acquisition that the next game was exclusive to PlayStation.
They had two. Yeah.
Even though it was obviously that was before, but it's just the timing of it was quite ironic.
It's Deathloop and Ghost Tokyo Wire, I think, or Ghostwire Tokyo. Those are the only two Bethesda games now coming out on PlayStation. After the Ghostwire Tokyo, that's it. Which I think is next month. So that's it then. Bethesda will be gone from PlayStation. At least for now, anyway. I think it's stupid because you're going to make money either way. You now own the studio. Why do you need to be exclusive?
I know, and they're cutting out a lot of their potential income.
Yeah, I understand they might have to. I don't know if there's something like back end they have to be like, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same with Sony in regards to Bungie and whatever on Microsoft. But it's like, but Sony basically go, hey, you want to sell this Bethesda game on our service, you have to give us a percentage, like that kind of thing. And maybe Microsoft don't want that because they're money hungry. Yeah. Which I think is going to be their downfall.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting deal. But that's for the execs to piss their pants about.
Yeah. I just want to play games and have fun and be taken out of this shithole of a world that we live in.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
But yes, is there any other gaming things?
I've got 3 games. I'll just quickly go through them because I'm still playing through Far Cry 6. It's great. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Big world, enjoying it. Cyberpunk 2077, great game. Having fun with it. Still broken to shit. Need that next patch.
You're going to be so sick of open world games.
Do you know, I found myself wanting to play more RPGs and open world stuff, like open world RPG stuff, and I'm like, I've never been like this, like ever. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just falling into it now. But yeah, Cyberpunk, great game, but it needs that 1.5 patch. They need to seriously get that next gen patch out now, please. Please.
Yeah, no, you'll finish it and then they'll release it.
Yeah, no. But and then you got Deathloop, which I'm still playing through. Fun game. Actually, I've hit the point now where it makes sense, where you're repeating the same day over and over again, because you can actually save items and stuff. I'll have to show you a little bit of it at some point, maybe.
Oh yeah, show me your Deathloop.
Show me your Deathloop. Yeah. Okay, that's it though. Other than that,
fair enough.
Shall we move on to films and TV?
Yes.
It's gonna be a quick one.
Well, the other day I watched Halloween Kills, which is one I've been meaning to watch since it released, and obviously since the 2018 one.
Yeah.
The requel, the sequel to a requel. It's a good film. It basically just the pacing is all kind of just like like it just kind of plods on, expecting you to have seen the previous one, which I suppose that's kind of the idea behind it. It's like links on directly from the previous one. It was really cool to get some kind of scenes back in 1978, kind of like an extension of the original, which is really cool to see. Yeah. But I enjoyed it. There's lots of gruesome kills, and it's kind of what you expect. Nothing innovative or kind of new, but it's what you expect. Yeah. Really, Michael just does not die. He's a transcended human now. Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight. He's still walking.
Yeah. But yeah. That's the only film I watched. So if you've got any films.
I watched a film called Werewolves Within. It's kind of like a dark comedy, but it's based on a Ubisoft game.
Oh,
which
yeah,
I wasn't aware of.
I thought that rang a bell when it came.
Yeah, it's actually a fairly good film. I mean, it's kind of what you'd expect, like for a dark comedy with a low budget and game adaptation. But honestly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite funny, and I thought it was a good, relaxing, switch your brain off film. So
yeah,
highly recommended.
So it's a comedy.
Yeah, like a black comedy essentially. So this police guy basically gets moved to this really quiet little town, and he gets to meet all the locals and stuff, and basically one of them turns out to be not what they appear to be. I'll say that. I don't want to spoil anything, but it is genuinely worth a watch. It's not a super long film as well. They don't try to drag it out too much. There are a few jokes that kind of go on a bit too long, but again, it's a film adaptation of a game that really didn't have a story. It was just more like a point and click thing. So I mean, expect what you're going to expect, and you'll have a good time. But the acting's not terrible. There are some very cringy scenes, but some of it is genuine. Most of it is genuinely quite good and
fair enough.
Fun at least.
Nice.
Well,
I watched a series on Netflix called "The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window." I finally got the title right.
It's an interesting film title.
Yeah.
Kristen Bell, right?
It obviously comes across as a parody kind of thing, and I think that is kind of what they were going for. But the actual show itself, is quite and takes itself quite seriously, I suppose, in some regards. There is that kind of comedic aspect as well, but it's very good. Kristen Bell is good in it.
Yeah.
The twist at the end was surprising. I'm not sure it worked fully, but it was surprising at least.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it. And there's lots of twists and turns, and it's like dark and funny and all the things you like from a Netflix series. So
as you do,
it's a lot of fun as well. So I'd recommend it to watch. Yeah, it's a good one. It's got kind of on the lighter side of dark, so you can. It's like
undertones of dark humor, but mostly sort of take, because from what I've heard, it's like a piss take basically of those cliche horror films of like the girl across the street from you. Oh well,
Yeah.
the clue's in the title, but you know what I mean. Like it's like, oh, the girl. There's like a horror film called The Girl Next Door or something.
Yeah.
So those kind of, it's parody. I can't say the word.
Yeah, it's like the title is kind of parodying, but the actual series itself is kind of it's kind of its own thing.
Unique.
I suppose. Maybe it falls into traps of being the thing it parodies or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't really describe the series as a parody.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Oh, sweet. I'll have to check it out. I thought it was a film. Didn't realise it was a series.
No, yeah, it's like 8 or 9 episode series.
Yeah.
They're like half an hour each, so they're quite. You kind of binge them a bit.
Yeah. It's kind of like The Good Place. You can just binge them for like 20 minutes.
Twist at the end of every episode. Yeah. Oh god.
It's like Lost. Speaking of Lost, managed to finish series 4.
Series 4.
We are binging a sugar ton of series 5 today because I need to know what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm desperate. So.
Oh, season 5 is so good.
Yeah, it's your favourite one, right? That's what you told me.
Yeah.
So.
Because I like a certain theme in this series. But yeah, it's been there throughout, but it's more prevalent in this series. So.
Okay, sex.
Kate Love Triangle, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I am looking forward to it in all seriousness, and I'm very excited to see where they take the series.
You said when we were watching it, it feels like a different series now than when it started. So explain that a little bit.
It's crazy, right? Because when it first started, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see they wind up in this island. Then you have like kind of the supernatural aspect of it that sort of takes in. You're like, oh. Then you've got Mr. Echo, and you have all that stuff. Then you have.
It's very much focused on character development, and it's quite slow, but it's also interesting.
It's I don't know. I think series 4 was probably the one where I felt like each episode had a purpose. I feel like series 3 had a couple of fillers that were like wasn't necessary, but series 4 was definitely like consistent, just more.
Yeah, ramped up because there's less episodes.
Yeah, and I think I'm hoping that's how it continues now because
yeah,
it did feel like a different series because you have them. Well, if you haven't watched Lost already, then that's your problem. I mean, it's been out for years, but they like were on the island, but now they're off. Like certain ones are off the island, some of them are on a boat, and it's like.
So it's like not just this island anymore. It's expands wider and wider.
Yeah, it's like an entire they've gone back to the actual world kind of thing, and I don't know. I'm excited to see how the ending of series 4, although we already had a clue to it, as you said back in another series. I'm interested to see how that all pins together and how he got there, and I don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of that's the thing with Lost. If you ever watch it, you'll get more questions than you will answers. Yeah, you'll get more questions than you will answers for a long time. But yeah, very good, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah, it is, and hey, it clearly works because I want to watch more. So yeah.
Any more films and TV things?
I do. Yeah, I have 2. I finished The Witcher season 2.
Robin will be happy.
Yeah, it was really good actually. Really good, really good.
Were you a happy boy?
It was a bit. I felt like there was parts like the especially with what happens at the end of episode 7, and then what episode 8 basically happens in that. That felt a little bit rushed to me. I felt like they could have really fleshed that out a bit, but they've obviously introduced a few things in there, the Wild Hunt and kind of very specific lore things for The Witcher. So if you're not really into the books or the games, there is going to be a lot in it that you're going to be like, what the fuck does that mean? So, but it is good and it works really well, and I love the guy they got to play Vesemir. He did a fantastic job. Interesting take on the fact that they didn't focus it on Geralt. Like, it was way more focused on the other characters, which I'm glad of. I think that was a good thing. And Jaskier, of course, my sweet Jaskier, just a wonderful poet and singer. Just and damn, he has a good body. I'm just gonna say, my God. You think he's like this nerdy character, and then you see him with his top off, and you're like, Jesus. So yeah,
it's another Henry Cavill.
Yeah, it was very good. Yes, I'm thirsty for Jaskier. But yeah,
I need to watch the second series.
It is very good. I do recommend it. But and then the only other thing that I watched, which was just on a whim, me and Vic sat down and binged it all, was Murderville. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's basically 6 episodes with Will Arnett, and essentially they have like a celebrity guest on each time. But there's no script. They don't have any script, so they have to work out. Basically, it's like a detective and his partner. They have to work out this crime scene and who did it, kind of thing, right? They have to try and work out who did it. They have like Conan O'Brien on there. What's his name? Kim, and the guy that's the doctor, and also
I've seen the trailer for this.
It's very cringy.
This looks quite funny.
It's very cringy at times.
Yeah.
Like, so uncomfortable. But there are moments
where he's like, pretend to be dead on the floor, and he's like,
some of it is fucking hilarious. And there are times, because obviously Will Arnett is meant to be like this serious cop day, and most of the time he keeps his composure really well. But there are times where you just see him break character, and he's just smirking and laughing just under his hand, like, fucking hell, this is ridiculous. And it's really, really funny, and it's like a nice an interesting formula.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was improvised. Like, a lot of it was improvised, because I watched it and thought, this is a bit weird, disjointed, and doesn't make so much sense. But now I know it's like mostly.
Yeah, the guests basically don't have a script. They have no idea what's going on. They have no idea who the killer is. They have to actually work it out themselves, and it's really, really well done. I know it's got a lot of crap because a lot of people have said, "Oh, it should just be an SNL sketch and a sketch and whatever," and I'm like, no.
People probably don't understand what it is it's trying to do.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. It's different, and I think that's very important. I think there's not a lot of shows and stuff take that kind of risk to do something completely off the book, and it works. I'm sorry.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah. I mean, Sharon Stone's in it, for Christ's sake. I mean,
Sharon Stone.
Like, it's ridiculous, but it's so good. It is very good, and Will Arnett makes it very, very funny.
Yeah. I'll put that on my list. Put it on my list.
They're not long episodes either. They're only like half hour, so.
Bite-sized chunks. Those. Half an hour is nothing in these days.
Yeah, literally.
When it comes to binging.
You watch anything on YouTube, it's normally over an hour. Anymore.
Oh god, yeah.
But
someone going, oh my god, what's that noise?
Hey, that's my content and all. But yeah, so that's all I've got for film and TV and stuff.
Okay. Well, shall we move on to the interesting things?
Interesting things! Yes, let's go.
I've got this interesting one, which I've been thinking about for weeks and I've just always forgotten about to mention. It's like the interesting marketing techniques of certain companies. So the reason I think of this is because I've seen the advert for the new Apple Watch, and it's like where the guy's wearing it, he obviously falls while he's hiking, and it's like, the Apple Watch has contacted the police. This person may have had a serious fall. So that's how they're marketing this thing, as some kind of like life-saving device. Like, well, that isn't right.
No.
Like, what? Why are they marketing it this way? It's like as if you don't have one of these, then you're not going to get saved when you fall to your death. What?
Well, if you fall to your death, you're not going to be saved.
Right.
No, I get what you mean, though. Yeah, it's like they're trying to advertise it as something more than it is. Because let's face it, 9 times out of 10, it won't work.
You won't have any signal or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, what are our thoughts on companies trying to do, like, make things seem like they're an absolute necessity by kind of appealing to your fears or whatever? When it comes to buying their products.
I think I've said it before. I think it's scummy as hell. I mean, I get why marketing is a certain way, because obviously you're trying to sell a product, you're trying to make your money off of it. I get it. And I think a lot of people understand these days that when it comes to marketing like that, it's very predatory. It's very, I'll feed on your fears, or I'll feed on your addictions. And I don't like it. I mean, the only ads I ever see now is obviously on YouTube, and I very, very rarely pay attention to them. I don't know. It's one of those things to me that I get. Obviously, advertising has to be a thing, but I just think they should be more honest about it. Like, yeah, it can do this thing, but make sure you have signal. Yeah, I'm more likely to buy something if they're honest about it. I'm like, it's why I don't. It's very rare that I pre-order any game anymore, because just so many people lie about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait for the game to come out, see what it's like. There's very few game companies that I still trust enough to be like, I know that they'll bring out at least something that's workable. Yeah. So I don't know. It's
also kind of like breaching that line between technology and something else, because it's like right? As well, if you go on a hike alone, and as long as you have one of these watches, you're more safe than you are without one.
Yeah.
That's like the message it's essentially trying to say. So
yeah, and it's also dangerous because what if someone takes it literally because they think, because maybe then, like, not everyone is super educated on technology, not everyone understands it fully, and I get it. It's a complicated area. Like, there's stuff that I don't know. So if someone buys this watch and goes, oh, I don't need to tell anyone where I'm going now because the watch will tell them, and it doesn't. And then they go missing.
Over-reliance on it.
Yeah, no, and that does happen. I've seen people over-rely on technology that are maybe double my age, only 50. Like, and they can still do everything themselves, but they just rely on it so heavily. People, when they have, like, I took apart my Alexa and was like, nope, because people were using it all the time, everywhere. Any time that someone came in, they were like, oh, Alexa. I was like, can you stop talking to my... talk to me. I'm a human. I'm right here. And I was getting sick of it. And then I go over to, like, any kind of family member that has, like, Alexas and stuff, everything is done through it. Alexa, turn the lights on. Alexa, turn the TV on. Alexa, channel, blah, 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 blah. Alexa, Netflix. And I'm like, do you just sit there now and just eat Choritos and just hope she's got a fucking setting that can wipe your ass for you when you're on the toilet? Alexa, bidet activate. Like, it's going to get to that point. And I think people genuinely have an over-reliance on it. I think that's what the adverts play on, is we know you use technology for everything, so add this to your list of things. And it's such a dangerous precedent because it's not fully fleshed out yet.
Yeah, it just kind of links to that the highway code stuff, and it's kind of just panders to the mainstream of people relying on technology and not really giving a shit about actual safety. And same thing with smart motorways as well, which is a whole different
I don't know.
Let's just get rid of the hard shoulder, and if you break down, who cares? The lane will tell you that there's a car broken down.
Eventually smart cars will tell you where the broken down cars are, and it's like,
what happens if the delay between someone breaking down and the sign coming up?
It's funny to me, right? Because you have these smart cars that are like get advertised as they can drive themselves and stuff. We all know that's not true. They can drive themselves. You still have to be attentive.
Yeah. Like some cars have like a mode where they drive themselves, and they're pretty okay for the most part, but they can't predict the unpredictable.
Yeah, and it's like you're trying to create this technology. We still haven't made a sat nav that doesn't take you down the wrong bloody lane yet.
Yeah.
Like, sat navs still make mistakes, and we're trying to make technology. We still haven't even perfected the last generation. To me, it's just crazy. And then when they're advertising, as you say, they're advertising these things that are like, hey, this could save your life. That's dangerous. Perfect example. Never buy anything Huawei. They are garbage. I bought the phone because it was like, oh, that's cheaper. And I got the watch with it because I was like, oh, it's a deal. And, the watch doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, it just, what's your heart rate? Apparently I'm dead.
Yeah.
You use the watch. It's like, well, I can contact the emergency services for you. Tries it. Doesn't work. You haven't got a signal. You don't need a signal for an emergency call. Why does that? It's just not perfected, and a lot of it is deceptive marketing to just make more money. And I think that's the line that needs to be breached now. Is there's a difference between deceptive marketing and accidents that are inevitably going to happen with new technology. Right? If you make something and 9 times out of the 10 times that you've tested it, it works. That is different compared to 1 times in the 10 that it works. Yeah. And I think they just don't care. So it's all about money for these people, isn't it?
Yeah, they've always got like a team of psychologists around, like, what can we kind of appeal to, appeal to that fear of missing out, but now let's appeal to like the fear of losing life.
No, it's crazy. Puppy, go, puppy.
Roxy wants to stay.
But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's one of those things of just don't watch the adverts. Just don't watch them. Don't pay any attention.
It reminded me of like the old adverts where you used to get for speeding and British public health adverts, speeding and smoking. Like,
you wouldn't steal a tape cassette.
You see like literally a child's mangled body on the floor, like it's trying to show the horrible side of speeding. Horror. Like, this is what you did to this girl. Imagine that. Oh, right, okay.
It's like, yes.
It's like those kind of dark adverts are coming back now, but they're kind of marketing them, but they weren't selling anything. They were just warnings.
But those adverts, I'd always be like, yes, but I don't know the context. Did she just run out in front of my car? Then in which case, that's her fucking fault.
Yeah.
Like,
Snuck in ones where they showed like vital organs, like how they're getting like affected by
yeah.
this.
As someone that smoked, they never stopped me.
No, it's
I stopped once I went, I don't like this anymore.
like preaching to the already converted.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a complicated area because there are some adverts and some advertising things that are done honestly and they are honest products, but there are just so many that are just full of shit.
Most of them are like faking it.
Yeah, making crap up, or like it's 1 in every million that will actually do this thing, but because it happened once, we can market it as a feature. I don't know, it's dangerous again, like especially when you're marketing something as a life-saving thing. No, you don't get to do that. It is an optional thing. Do not market it as a necessary thing.
Yeah, it's one thing where you're watching like a dishwasher or like a thing where it's like, it gets rid of every stain and it comes out with a brand new perfect white t-shirt. It's like, we all know that's like not completely
It depends
true.
on what you use, how much you put in, what wash you do. Like, we get that.
But then it gets to this kind of like saving lives business. And it's just overstepping the mark a bit too much.
It's a dangerous thing to do, and especially if you're not, if people again aren't educated on it, they're not going to know, are they?
Yeah.
There's been plenty of times where I've been misled in something. It's why now if I want to buy something, I'll look something up and then I'll look up multiple reviews and videos on that one specific thing before I get it. Multiple opinions, multiple people who have purchased it themselves, spent
From
their own
unbiased
money.
people.
Yeah, exactly, and just because adverts are pointless. They're not going to tell you the truth.
No.
Doritos, they are the best crisps around. They're not. They're massively unhealthy.
I like them, but
they're tasty, and I love them, don't get me wrong, but they're unhealthy to fuck, and to boot, they're expensive, and half the bag is air. Like, they're deceptive. That's the point of advertising, is to
they have
lie.
those like ironed crisp packets.
Yeah.
Who has a crisp packet like that?
The point of advertising is to deceive you and trick you into buying something you don't need. That is the point. But making it feel like you do need it.
Yeah.
That's the entire point of advertising. So if you ever see an advert again, you're like, "Oh, I want to buy that." Think about what you just saw.
Yeah, don't believe what you see.
Yeah.
Just do your own research on it.
Especially in this era of technology where literally adverts can just pop up anywhere on your phone. Like, people using social media, there's ads everywhere. Like,
Misinformation. Just,
it's
every
right.
corner. People believe it because it's on their favourite social media.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if, maybe I'm a bit, ignorant saying this, but I'm glad that I grew up in the era that I grew up, because I feel like it was the best era. We had the right amount of technology and the right amount of, still kind of normal human interaction, like going out and playing with friends, but having the consoles to come home and play games with them if I wanted to. But I never had these huge social media sites or Instagram where I had to make my arse look 3 times bigger than it was because I wanted to attract every male in the stratosphere. Like, yes, I've done that. So I get, I'm glad that I grew up in the era that I grew up in, because at least I got to have,
some morsel of normal interaction.
Yeah, exactly, and not be fucking advertised to every 10 seconds about this next product, this next thing, buy V-Bucks, do this. Like, I don't know. It feels like these days people don't care about, kids having like a happy time doing something, or just enjoyable, or people in general having a happy time doing something and being in general. It's more just, how can I sell people this thing?
Yeah.
How's the quickest way for me to do it? How do I
can I get them
fear?
addicted?
Yeah. How do I get them addicted? How do I get them to fear not having this product? There we are. And it's disgusting, man. It's so wrong, and it's just never going to change. It's only ever going to get worse, and I think that makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it just needs everyone to wake up to this fact, but we're all going to get sucked into it.
We'll all get sucked into it, just like I.
You will get sucked in at the end.
Suck on lollipops. Right, anyway, but yeah, that was a good topic, Sean. Good topic.
Well, yeah.
Thank you for bringing it. Thank you for bringing it. It was a good.
I just saw the advert weeks ago, and I thought, ever since, we need to talk about this on the podcast, but I forget.
Yeah, well, it happens. We all have our.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you very much again.
No problem.
That one, it was a good one. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. I think we'll leave it here for now. Another fairly long one. I wasn't expecting it to be this long. Yeah. But it was a good one. So again, thank you to Sean for joining me, as always.
Yeah.
And thank you to Lola and Roxy for being there too. I appreciate them.
Thank you.
But yeah, and hopefully to everyone that watched it, I hope you enjoyed. Again, 50 of them now. We've been doing this for nearly 2 years.
It's our anniversary. And we shall spend it watching Lost.
Soon. I think it's... I can't remember. I think it was like the 16th of April or 16th of August or something that we did our first one on. So.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, not long. Special. Oh, Christ. It's Q&A. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching if you did or listened, as podcast should be. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one that we do.
Catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.